Hello everyone, welcome. We're going to get started today on the floor, taking a nice seat anywhere where you feel comfortable, in any position that you feel comfortable, just taking your time, making your way down. Starting out, just paying attention to our posture, sitting up nice and tall, letting the shoulders roll back and down the spine. Allowing the elbows to grow heavy, pulling the shoulders down away from the ears. Allow the eyes to close. Just take a few breaths here on our own. Notice the ground beneath us. Notice any sounds in the room or outside. Whenever you're ready, begin by bringing the shoulders up to the ears and exhale down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, relax. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Beginning with some shoulder rolls. I always tend to start all of my classes with a similar set of movements, just because I feel like it's important to just get your body moving gently before any exercise or physical activity, really before doing anything. And switch direction of your circle. And little things like rolling the shoulders, neck rolls, things that we don't do every day that really just have such a great benefit of releasing this tension and the stress that we hold there. When you're ready, moving up to some neck rolls, circles with the forehead. And switching directions. Rising up through center, find that posture, let the shoulders come down away from the ears. Taking a few breaths here before we really get started, just to set an intention for today's class. This intention is just something that you can remind yourself, keep bringing your attention back to throughout the practice today. And when you're ready, begin by bringing the arms up overhead. Big stretch up. Exhale, cactus arms. Open that chest forward. Pull those shoulder blades back. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, bring it back. We're going to pause here on this one. Really pull those shoulder blades together. Press that chest open. Lift that gaze. Here for 3, 2, and 1. Lifting it up. Left arm comes down. Right arm stretches overhead. Take your time to really reach with the fingertips and press that right hip down into the mat. So we're opening up this right rib cage, this right side body out into the room. Here for 3. Rising up, right arm comes across the chest, add in that little wrist roll. Switch your roll. And release down. We're going to bring the bottoms of the feet together. Let the knees come out to the side like we're coming into our seated butterfly pose. But instead of coming into seated butterfly where the heels are pretty close to the body, we're going to send the feet away from us. Then take a big inhale, lifting up, starting with the forehead, begin to curl the spine. So we're starting with the forehead, making our way down. As we make our way down, we're beginning to hinge forward, bringing the forehead a little closer towards the heels. And take a couple breaths. Inhale, rising up. We're going to cross the legs again, and if you can remember which leg was on the bottom, bring it to the top. And likewise, I don't remember. We're going to stick with this one. Both arms reach up. Right hand comes down, left hand stretches over, reaching with those fingertips, pressing that left hip down, opening up that left rib side, and taking a few breaths. Lifting up, left arm comes across the chest, add in that wrist circle. And switching your direction. Wonderful. Relax it down. We're going to make our way to our knees. Sitting back on our calves, coming into our hero's pose. So we're just in a gentle little hero's pose, sitting on the calves. If this is very inaccessible for you, that's totally fine. Continue in our seated cross-legged position. Other options would be taking a little space between the knees or adding a block right underneath to give us some space from the ground. Wherever you are, we're just taking a breath, settling into the new pose. Turn the palms up towards the ceiling, roll the shoulders back and down the spine. When you're ready, take that right hand to the left side of the legs. The left hand comes around behind us for a gentle twist. Turning our gaze over that left shoulder. And here's our funky little transition. We're going to take this left hand that's behind us and bring that palm down to the ground. As we do so, we're taking the right hand and the hips, lifting up overhead, really reaching with those fingertips once more. Taking a big breath here, really pressing that chest forward, pressing those hips forward for 3, 2, and 1. Gently come down. And then switch sides to our gentle twist on the right side. Left hand to the right side. Right hand comes behind us, turning our gaze behind us. Turning our gaze over that right shoulder. We're here for a twist. And then coming into that little stretch, taking the right hand down, left hand and the hips lift up, reaching overhead. Here for a good breath, really pressing those hips up, lifting and opening the chest. And slowly making our way down. Coming back around front. We're going to hinge it forward, coming onto our tabletop. So we're coming into our neutral spine tabletop. So tuck that tailbone under, pull that belly button up towards the spine, slide the shoulders back away from the ears, eye gaze straight down. With an exhale, arch the back, chin tucks in, cat pose. And drop the belly down, chest comes through, chin rises, eye gaze lifts, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Continuing a few more rounds, moving at your own pace. And then finding that neutral spine. From here, we're coming into some hip circles. So we're going to hinge forward just slightly. Come around to the left, all the way back down, almost to those heels, all the way around to the right. Bring it back up. Continue this. We're going to repeat these circles 3 times on each side. So complete 3 full circles. And then switch your direction. Coming back up to that tabletop. Right foot goes out behind us. Tap down those toes, sink back into that heel. And then when you're ready, take that left hand, thread it underneath, come down on that left shoulder, and we're coming into our stretch. So take a moment, adjust your body weight on that left shoulder to find where that stretch is really hitting the right spot. We can take our right hand, relax it down. We can reach to the front of the mat. Lots of options here. Just play around with what is feeling just right for you. Wherever we are, just take a few breaths. Settle in for the stretch. And bringing that right hand back if it's straight. Use that hand to press up and away. Right knee comes down and then right out to the side to draw some circles, opening up those hips. Switching your direction. And then we're going to take this same leg, we're taking it out to the right, tap down that inner arch, send the hips back to your stopping point. So your stopping point might be up nice and high, it might be down low. Wherever you are, just allow yourself to settle down into the stretch. We're here for about 5 full breaths. Inhale, lifting back up. Take that right leg out behind us. Point through that toe, lift it up nice and high, and then step that foot forward to the outside of the right hand. Then we hinge our weight forward down into those hips. Hands can stay on the mat, palms down. Left foot can stay untucked or tucked. We can have the option to lift that back knee if you'd like to make it a bit of a more engaged pose, or you can leave it down. We have the option to drop down to the forearms, or you can stay lifted to the palms. Wherever we are, we're staying here for a few breaths, and then we have some options, some modifications coming up in just a moment. Coming into those modifications, we can stay right where we are. There's no reason that you need to move on, but if you'd like to have some options here, we can rise up to the palms if we're lowered. Left hand stays down, right hand reaches up towards the ceiling for a twist. With this twist, we have another option. We can stay right here, or we can take that right hand and reach back for the left foot. Wherever we are, pause for a few breaths. Allow the body to stretch for 3, 2, and 1. Right hand comes back down onto the inside of that right foot. We're going to tuck the left toes if they're not, lift the left knee if it's not, and step that right foot back, coming into our downward dog. Pedal out the knees, move those ankles around a little bit. Heels behind the toes, but those heels don't need to meet the mat. Knees can be bent as much as we need them to be. Just take a moment. With an exhale, hinge out, plank pose. Inhale, lift up, downward dog. Exhale, plank. Inhale, dog. Exhale, plank. Inhale, dog. Exhale, plank. Inhale, dog, hold. Pause and breathe. With your next exhale, hinge out to your plank pose. Bring the knees down. Elbows tucked into the sides as we lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Pull those shoulder blades back. Pull those elbows back. Open the chest to the room for 3, 2, and relax down. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Pulling that chest open for 3, 2, and relax down. Last one. Inhale, lift up, pull up, baby cobra for 3, 2, and 1. Relax down. Now we're going to lift up just a little bit. Bring that left arm parallel to the front of the mat. Right hand reaches back for that right foot. We're going to hug it in towards the booty. So we have a couple options here. We can pull it in towards the booty. Just get that little stretch going. If that feels great, you can stop here. If you'd like to make it a little bit deeper, we can press that foot away from us, lifting the thigh up off the mat. Whatever feels good, whichever kind of engagement, whichever kind of stretch is your body's asking for today is totally fine. Gently releasing. Right hand coming around to the front, left hand going around behind us for our stretch, pulling it in. Again, we have those two options. A nice passive little stretch here, just pulling it in, or an active engaged stretch, pushing away, lifting that thigh up off the mat. Gently releasing. We are going to have two options here. We can repeat those two. Left hand to the front, right hand reaching back, and then switching sides. Or we can come into our full pose, taking both hands around to the outer edges of those feet, and then lifting up for a little stretch here, a little back bend here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently release. And then lifting back up again for round 2. If we're switching sides, we're switching back to that other side. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release down. Hands come up by the sides. We're going to press up and back to our child's pose, stretching those fingertips to the front, and then bringing those hands by our sides, turning the palms up towards the ceiling, resting the forehead down on the mat. Staying here for a breath. If it feels good to rock the head from left to right, giving the forehead a little massage here, feel free. And when you're ready, hands come forward, lifting ourselves up to our tabletop. We're moving into our left side body stretches. Left foot goes back, tap down those toes, sink back into that heel. Right hand threads under, coming down on that left shoulder. I'm new to the mic situation, so I'm hoping this doesn't come through too much with the clothing rustling. And you guys can still hear me, but we're just taking our time, rolling around on that right shoulder a little bit to find the stretch that's asking for us to find it. Left arm relaxes forward or relaxes down by the sides, sinking down into that left heel a little bit more. Wherever we are, just taking a few breaths. Left hand comes back to center. Use that hand to press up. Left knee comes down. We're going to draw some circles here. Opening up those hips. And switch directions. Left foot goes out to the left, tap down that inner arch, hips go back. Reminder, each side is different. So you might be up higher on one side than the other. Maybe you're all the way down to that heel. Wherever you are, you just want to be able to relax into the stretch. Take a few breaths. With an inhale, rising up. Left leg goes out behind us, pointing through that toe. Lift it up nice and high, and then step it forward on the outside of that left hand. Palms spread nice and wide, and then let the hips come forward, sinking down with gravity. Right foot can tuck or stay untucked. Back knee can lift or it can stay grounded. We can stay on the palms or drop down to the forearms. Find what's working for you, and then I will add in those options in a few moments. Coming into our options, if we are down on our elbows, feel free to stay here, but if you'd like to add in a little extra, we're going to rise up to the palms. Right hand stays down, left hand reaches up towards the ceiling. Option to stay here, option to reach back for that right foot. Taking a breath for 3, 2, and 1. Left hand comes back down on the inside. From here, tuck that right toe under, lift that right knee. A little different this time. This time we're going to step towards the front of the mat and come from this pose into our yogi squat. So we're taking that right foot, step it up to the outside of the right hand, and then let the hips come down. Make your adjustments. Hands can be down on the ground for support or balance, or they can rise up to heart center. Either way, elbows to the inside of the thighs, open up those hips, lift up through the spine, drop the shoulders, top of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. And we're staying here for a couple breaths. If we'd like to add in a little bind here, we can do so by taking that left arm down to the ground, past that left foot, right hand reaching up towards the ceiling. We can stay just like this or come into your bind by bringing those fingertips together behind you. Our gaze is over that right shoulder. And then whenever you're ready, switching sides. Right hand down past that right foot, left hand reaching up towards the ceiling, and then that option to come into our bind, bringing those fingertips together behind us. Bringing ourselves back to center, hands back to palms together. And then hands come down to the ground. Lengthen up through the legs, heel to the feet directly underneath of the hips. Nice and grounding. Lift up halfway, hands slide up the shins or to the thighs, anywhere but the kneecaps. And then take a moment to lengthen out through the spine. So we're tucking that tailbone. Belly button lifts up, shoulders slide back, eye gaze straight down. For 3, 2, and exhale, bend those knees, chest comes down to the thighs, hands can go to opposite elbows, we can rock side to side or hold still. Find your ragdoll pose and just melt. Relaxing the head, maybe rocking the head yes and no, releasing that neck. Hands find the ground. Inhale, lift up, flat back. Exhale, straight leg stretch, hinge down at the waist, keep the chin lifted up off the chest. Inhale, lift up all the way, arms reach up overhead. Exhale down to heart center. Hands come down by our sides, palms facing the front of the room. Roll the shoulders back and down the spine and take a few moments for breath. Hands rise up to heart center. Right knee lifts up. Press down through that heel, lift up through those toes. Option to stay here, option to send it through the heel for 3, 2, 1. Bend that knee. We're going to take that right ankle to the left knee. Press that right knee down, open it up. Imagine that figure 4. We can stay lifted just like this, or if you want to take it a little deeper, sink down into a squat, a pseudo chair pose here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting back up if we're squatting, and then bring that knee back up front, candy cane pose. Taking that knee out to the right, option here with a toe grab, option to assist that leg with the right hand. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and back to center. Now we're going to take that right foot, step it back just a little bit, not a big step back. Hands stay at heart center. We're going to lift up, drop the shoulders down, take an inhale, reach those arms up, and exhale, hinge forward, reach to the front of the room. Once we reach towards the front of the room, we find grounding with our hands. So we can bring the hands to our thighs, to our shins, to blocks, or to the mat, whatever feels good, just to assist us with this triangle pose. Here for 3, 2, 1. Hands find the ground. Right foot steps all the way back to our low lunge. Let the hips sink down. Drop that weight out of the shoulders so the shoulders slide back away from the ears. Find your balance and then begin to rise up for our warrior 1. Warrior 1, drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Reach up with those fingertips. We can see our big toe, not our pinky toes, on that left foot. Back foot, I always give 2 options. Back foot facing front, heel up, or at an angle, heel down. Whatever your hips and your knees are working with today. Here for 3, 2, exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, lift up. Right hand comes down to the ground or a block. Left hand reaching up towards the ceiling for 3, 2, 1. Left hand comes down on the outside of the left foot. Find our balance on that left foot as we lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. 3-legged fold for 3, 2. Right foot comes down. Rise up, flat back. Exhale, straight leg stretch. Inhale, lift up all the way. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale down to heart center. Beautiful job. Moving on to the left side. Left knee lifts up. Flexing those toes down, flexing those toes up and the heel down. Hands at heart center. Option to take it through that heel for 5, 4, 3, 2, left ankle to the right knee. Press down that left knee, open it up, figure 4. We can stay lifted nice and tall or sink down to our squat, to our chair here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting up, left knee comes up and then out to the side, open up those hips. Again, we have that option with a toe grab or assisting with the left hand like I am here for 5, 4, 3, 2, back to center. Left foot steps back halfway. Just a short little step back. Arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hinge it forward, reach to the front of the room, pause, and then find your stability with the hands to the thighs, to the shins, to the ground, or to our blocks, whatever works. Find your triangle pose and hold for a few breaths. Hands find the ground, bending into that right knee. Left foot steps back, low lunge. Let the hips sink down to the mat. Find your balance, make your adjustments, and then begin to rise up, warrior 1. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Reach up with the fingertips. Check that front foot. We can see the big toe, not the pinky toes. Back foot, notice if there's a difference. It might want to be facing forward, heel up. It might want to be at an angle, heel down. Listen to those hips. Listen to the mobility of our knees. We want to feel uncomfortable most of the time, but we don't want to feel pain or strain. With an exhale, come back, cactus arms. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, left hand down, right hand reaching up again to a block. We also have the option with the knee here, a block or the ground. Right hand reaching up towards the ceiling. For 3, 2, right hand comes down. Outside of that right foot, weight comes into that right foot as we come into our 3-legged fold. Left foot reaching up towards the ceiling. For 3, 2, left foot comes down. Rise up, flat back. Exhale, straight leg stretch. Inhale, lift up all the way up. Exhale, down, heart center. And then we're taking a wide stance on our mat. We're going to turn the toes out, heels are in. Take a breath. We're not finding quite the perfect stance for us yet. We're just making a wide stance. Arms reach up, spread the fingers nice and wide, maybe stretch it back. And then exhale, fold it down. Hands find the ground. Knees can bend as much as they need to. Once the hands are on the ground and we have some sort of stability, that's when you heel toe the feet in or out to find where your stretch is. Once you find what works for you, take a moment to lengthen that spine. Shoulders slide back, hips tuck under, long line from the top of the head to the tailbone, and then exhale, hinge down at the waist, bring the forehead down, but keep that chin lifted off the chest. Hands can stay down on the palms, on the forearms. We can reach out to the big toes or the ankles. We can also reach out behind us. Whatever you'd like. Find what your body's asking for. Take a few breaths. Allow the stretch to happen. Inhale, lift up to the palms. Left hand moves to the center, right hand reaches up towards the ceiling. Exhale, right hand comes down. Left hand reaches up towards the ceiling. Left hand comes down. Heel toe the feet in just a couple inches. Hands lift up to the hips. And then lift up all the way back to our star pose. Arms sweep up overhead. From here, we're going to exhale down to our goddess pose, bending into the knees, bending into those elbows. Make a couple adjustments if you need to. Feel free, no judgment here. Tuck that tailbone under, pull that belly button in, shoulders down. Here for 3, 2, moving into a bit of a flow with your breath. Inhale, lifting up, lengthen. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, lift up, lengthen. Exhale, down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, hold. Don't hold your breath, just hold the pose. Hands come down to the knees. Right shoulder comes down, right arm stays straight. Switch sides. And switch back. Last one. Lift up through center, return to that goddess pose. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold all the way back down. From here, we're coming into what I like to call a sumo squat. Hands on the ground, we're just sinking back into those hips, bending into those knees. Really feeling that tension in the hip flexors as we sink down as deep as we can. Inhale, lift up, lengthen the legs. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, lift up, lengthen. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, lift up, lengthen. Exhale, down. And lift up, lengthen, hold. Hands rise back up to the hips, lifting back up, arms sweep up, star pose. Exhale down to heart center, and we're going to step back to the front of the mat. Take a breath here. Arms sweep up. Exhale down to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold it forward. Rise flat back. Exhale, hands down, step back, downward dog. Always an option in our downward dog to move through a quick chaturanga. If that's in your practice, feel free. Exhale out, lower down 90 degrees or all the way. Inhale, lift upward dog, baby cobra. Exhale, press back, downward dog. From here, begin to move those feet out to the edges of the mat. Knees come down to the edges of the mat. Move those big toes together, hips go back, stretch those fingertips to the front of the mat, and rest that head down. Take a moment here in your child's pose. Allow the belly to fill the space between the legs. Allow the shoulders to relax. Allow the fingers to spread wide and the palms to melt into the mat, grounding you into the ground. You always have the option here to begin to walk those hands towards the left side of the mat, right side stretching over. And then walk those hands to the right, left side stretching over. Coming back to center. Shark fin stretch. We can keep the elbows down, bring the palms together, and then lift the hands over the head, reaching those thumbs towards between those shoulder blades. Relax the hands down, begin to walk yourself back to a seated position and bring the legs out front. Planting down those feet, knees at a bend. Hands come behind us, palms down, fingertips pointing towards the front of the mat With an inhale, lift up towards an upside down tabletop. Press those hips up towards the ceiling. And then with an exhale, we're coming down, hinging back, bringing those legs straight and lowering down to a seat. Heels planted down. Pull those toes back towards us. Sweep the arms up. Exhale, hinge it forward, reaching past those toes or in the direction of past those toes, and relax the arms down. Keep that chin lifted up off the chest. Keep that chest open to the room. Here for 3, 2, and 1. Rising up, hands come back by the sides. Inhale, lift up back to that upside down tabletop. Exhale, hinge it back, lengthen out those legs, lower down, arms sweep up. Exhale, hinge forward, lower down the arms, relax. We have one more round of this. Inhale, rise up, hands by the sides, palms down, fingertips to the front. Inhale, lift those hips up, upside down tabletop. Exhale, lower down, lengthen out those legs, hips come down, arms sweep up. Exhale, hinge it forward, relax those arms, chest and chin lifted and open. Inhale, lifting up. Bringing a bend back to those knees. Hands come behind the thighs as we press that chest forward, lift and open up, pull those shoulders back. And then exhale, begin to round that spine as we make our way down to our backs. Knees come into the chest and draw some circles with those knees. Releasing, grounding through that lower back. Switch direction of your circles. And then extend those feet up towards the ceiling, hands to the backs of the thighs, pressing those heels up, pulling those toes down, actively engaged, and then point those toes up. Flex and point. Flex and point, flex and point, flex, point and hold. We're going to begin to transition into our happy baby. So we're bringing the knees down to our sides by the sides of our rib cage, hands to the outer edges of the feet or the big toes. We're going to press those heels up towards the ceiling at the same time as pulling those knees down by the sides. We have the options to stay just like this. We can rock side to side. We can lengthen one leg out or the other or both, whatever feels good, or we could just stay still. Whatever you choose to do, here for a few breaths. Slowly bringing those knees together, back into the chest, and then planting the feet down onto the mat. We're going to take the left leg, cross it all the way over the right leg, and then let the knees come down to the right side. We're only going to let them come down enough before the left shoulder begins to rise. So if that left shoulder rises, bring those legs back some. Maybe uncross the legs. Find what's working for you. What's most important is that left shoulder stays grounded and the knees are going towards the right side to get that good twist in the spine. Left arm extends out to the side, left palm towards the ceiling, turning your gaze towards those left fingertips. And then begin to make those adjustments that your body's asking for. Again, we can uncross the legs at any time. We can make some other sort of twist pose with the legs here. Maybe one leg wants to be extended out long. We can just let ourselves relax. Taking a few breaths. Slowly coming up through center. Uncrossing the legs and taking a little supine butterfly break. Bringing the bottoms of the feet together, letting the knees go out wide. Taking a few breaths here. Whenever you're ready to begin transitioning to that other side, bring the knees back up. Right leg crosses over the left. Knees come down to the left side. Right shoulder stays grounded. Right arm extends out. Palm turned up towards the ceiling. Turn your gaze to those right fingertips. And then make your adjustments. Make those modifications your body's asking for, but just allow your body to sink into the stretch, to feel that twist. Beginning to come out of this pose, bringing those knees back up and crossing the legs. And we're making our way into your personal Savasana pose. So we have a lot of options here, but just find the pose that speaks to you today, that you feel the most relaxed in, the most grounded. Maybe it's moving those feet out to the edges and bringing the knees together in the center. Maybe it's returning to that supine butterfly pose. Maybe it's lengthening the legs out long, arms by our sides, palms up. Wherever we are, take a moment, make adjustments, untuck that tailbone, lower that lower back down to the mat. Bring the shoulders underneath of the spine. Lengthen the arms away from the body. Turn the palms up towards the ceiling. And just begin to settle in. Starting with the toes. Maybe give the toes a little curl and then soften. Notice any tension being held in the ankles and see if we can allow them to soften. If the legs are out long, maybe the feet fall away from each other. Notice any tension being held in the kneecaps, giving them a gentle squeeze and then let go. Begin to focus on the hips. Notice if we're holding tension there, if there's anything that we can let go of and release. Take a big inhale through the nose and imagine that fresh air, new energy coming down into the body, spreading through the hips, refreshing them. And then with our exhale, releasing that tension that we're holding on to, letting it go, and allowing those hips to spread open, to relax, and to become one with the mat. With an inhale, fill that belly as much as we can. Deeper breath than we usually do. Send that belly button up towards the ceiling. And then with our exhale, slowly release through the mouth, dropping that belly button down towards the spine as we release everything that we're holding on to. Give the fingertips a little wiggle. Maybe ball the hands up into tight, tight fists. And then very slowly begin to let them go, opening the palms up towards the ceiling, feeling fresh air dance across the palms. Allow the elbows to feel heavy in the mat beneath them. Notice if we can inch those arms a little closer to the bottom of the mat, adding some space between the shoulders and the ears. Relax the jaw. Soften the lips. Allow the tongue to fall away from the roof of the mouth. Relax the cheekbones, soften the eyelids, and bring your attention to the center of the forehead as we set our intention for the rest of the day, maybe the rest of the week. Reminding ourselves of something positive. Maybe it's something personal, something just for us, and maybe it's something that we can send out into the world around us as well. Whatever it is, just take a few moments. Take your time to set that intention. Feel free to stay here for as long as you'd like. If you would like to finish out this class with me, just begin to gently press yourself up to a seated position, eyes closed, hands at heart center. With an inhale, bring the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, relax. Inhale, rise. Exhale, let go. Thank yourselves for coming to practice today, and I thank you for allowing me to guide your practice today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.